Hello, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube. This is Travis Semulin Sowers. We are jumping into a Zendikar Rising Best of 3 draft. I've just done a draft review with Guidenfort here, and we talked a lot about the importance of staying open and not committing to archetypes particularly early. So I'm going to try to express that as we're drafting here by going for the best card in the first initial packs, then determining what's open, and then getting into that deck. So if you've been watching the YouTube series, you're probably used to me just being lol Golgari, and I have kind of been zoning out a little bit in doing that. But I will try to give this draft the entirety of my attention and see what we can do. I think a good start here would be for the Spark Mage. You can get a party deck going in multiple colors. Yes, this is going to be the YouTube draft, so say hello to YouTube. We could pair this with literally any color and it could be good. It's even splashable in some configurations. There's a possibility that the Bug Catcher comes back, maybe the Pack Beast, which would be quite good with it. So we're going to start here, but this does not mean that we're red. This really has very little consideration into what we're going to take going forward. Because if it's not open, I don't want to play it. Right? That's kind of where we're going with this. And that brings us to the next pack, where I think the best card in this pack is the Feed the Swarm. Now, that could very easily lead us to Golgari, and one of the reasons I went lol Golgari is because it was quite often open, which led to me being lazy and just assuming that it would be open. But instead of doing that, we're going to zone in and pay attention and see if it actually is. There's some argument to take the Blood Beckoning here because some pods just won't let you take one. But I think given what we've talked about, I want to make sure we have removal spells in the deck. And Feed the Swarm is kind of a premium one. It even gives you outs to enchantments. So here we're really looking for a sign to get into a particular color rather than just taking, again, the Golgari cards. Because I could see a Travis that would just take the Visionary here and assume that we're going to be playing green. But Mardu Party is a real thing. We had one of those decks at the end of the stream yesterday. Black-White Clerics is the thing. Red-White Party / Warriors is the thing. So if we're going to try to draft what's open here, we just take the Binding, which means we've basically got 3-ish removal spells. We can get into any of these color pairs, have good removal, and then make a decision about what we're doing. So that leads us here, where we have Pack Beast, Cleric, into the Royal. I don't think we're interested in the Relic Golem currently. There's a strong consideration that we should take the Into the Royal because we just don't know what's open yet. Like, I think in the past, I'd been used to forcing decks and trying to kind of stake my claim, and I would consider something like a healer or a cleric here. The Pack Beast would go in a lot of decks, but if blue's open, we're going to miss this. And this is what it looks like when you're trying to draft the open deck, is you end up with cards spread across a bazillion colors, and then eventually figure out what you're supposed to be doing and get in on it. Again, it doesn't really look like it's green currently. And we've got a difficult decision, I think, between the Cabria Takedown and this Geyser Mage. And I think that is a legitimate, difficult decision. I think I'm going to err on the side of the Geyser Mage, because I think the tempo application for this is a big deal. The possibility to get into Wizards is a big deal. There's some chance that we see a Rock Slide Sorcerer and we get something going. I can definitely respect the takedown here. This is a decision point, and it's me saying I think I'd rather play this if I can. And we've got another little inflection point. I don't mind Red-White Party, and this card is quite good in Red-White Party. The issue is if we're blue, we can probably get some of the divinations if blue's actually open. And Bug Catcher is really, really good in black, white, or even blue-red. So I think I want the Bug Catcher here, but I could respect this. You think 4 people are not in white? It's possible. It's possible. Bug Catcher goes in a lot of the red decks. The second Spoils is teaching me something. The Blood Beckoning is also teaching me something. And I think what it's telling me is that there's actually people in blue, and these packs were so stacked that they took Royal Mages. So at this point, I don't think there's anyone in blue-white specifically, but I also kind of am curious about why this Blood Beckoning is still here. So we're going to take the Beckoning. And I think there's a strong possibility we were red-white the whole time. Because this is pick 8. This is literally pick 8, and here's a Kargan War Leader. All right, if we're drafting what's open, this is what we're doing. Because literally the whole table looked at that and didn't want it. We should be able to expect really good cards coming our way. Like this Bug Catcher has gone all the way around the table. Now, there's some argument that we may still end up in black, because I'm not convinced that War Leader plus Binding is necessarily better than Feed the Swarm and Blood Beckoning, but we'll see. Yeah, if there's any consideration still to playing black, I want to take the Zoff Consumption. And I think there's still some consideration to it. It's also possible we could get a little bit of fixing and be Mardu colored, but it would surprise me. And again, the whole table has looked at Cinderclasm, Disenchant, Resolute Strike, and Tazim Raptor and not wanted it. Now, generally speaking, I don't particularly want these cards either. But I think we've settled on red, which makes me want Cinderclasm. It's a unique effect. I may not main deck it. I would be interested in a Disenchant for the sideboard, but if we're going to go potentially aggressive, I think I actually want an Ox. I also think I'll probably find another one. So I think we've made it through the entirety of the first pack and still aren't 100% sure what color pair we're in. But I think the second War Leader kind of cinches it for us. At this point, if I take this Kargan War Leader and just jam literally every warrior that I see, with a few clerics and wizards here and there, I think we've got something. We've determined that this is open, and then we've opened a second copy of this. So I think that's going to put us in warriors. We flush the black cards with the possibility to splash a Blood Beckoning if we think we need it. Blade by itself is kind of a bad card. Like, I actively don't want this in my deck. However, there are some equipment payoffs in red-white. If we get those, that will move the blade into playable. Now here, again, based on what we saw in the first pack, we believe that we're going to get a good red-white deck. And in the past, Travis would have been tempted in complaining about seeing Symbiosis and Vastwood Surge here. It's entirely possible we see some good green cards here, and we're not going to stress about that. We're going to trust in the War Leader going all the way around the table that nobody's in red-white. We're going to take a warrior, and we're going to be happy with it. All right, this is a pack that has some decisions to make as well. Electromancer could lead to some busted stuff in Party. I don't think I'm going to have enough wizards that we can take advantage of a Rock Slide Sorcerer. There's some world where blue is so open that we just get into it here, but I still think we've probably found our spot. I think we've probably found our spot, and I want this Electromancer. That's the spot I was talking about. That's the spot I was talking about. So there's lines where you can get this out exceptionally early. We don't currently have them. We could build towards them, but very happy with this pickup. Now, I've talked some about Synchronized Spellcraft and why I don't particularly like the card. None of that's changed. However, we're going to need some removal, and this may be our best option currently. I also really like the Hellions, and they can get better the longer the game goes. It gives you a little bit of reach, a little bit of extra burn. But I think I'm going to take the Emergency Spellcraft. Hope we don't play it. All right, the Banneret's probably a very nice pickup for us. So we're going to gobble that up. There's a Relic Amulet. It could have been Wizards. It could have been Wizards. I don't mind a Fisher Wizard, and this is a deck I actually don't mind a Kite Sail. Because we're probably going to be aggressive enough that I want to play 16 lands and then still have some flood protection. That said, I think I might be able to find additional copies of either of these. I don't think I'm stressing it too much. And there's other things I'd really rather be playing here. If my two drops can be warriors, it makes the war leader stronger. And I think we are going to play a kite sail here. I mentioned that we're probably interested in one ox, just to kind of force through blockers. We could have taken the kite sail here if we'd taken the wizard. But I am interested in one ox. Felidar is a decent threat. Rage is a decent combat trick, but if we're going to play combat trick, I'd rather have +2/+2 for white. So we're not quite getting on there on the warriors. Somebody's picking up all of the 3/2 warrior or 3/1 warriors, which is a bit of a shame. But I think we could still get there with this. Like if we have to play things like Hellhound, Scavenge Blade, Spellcraft, I'm not going to be thrilled about it, but we can make it work. I also don't think it's insane to main deck a Disenchant. One thing I really don't want to play is a Tug Tug Rubble for it. So we'll take an emergency 2-drop. Rider's a pretty good wheel for us. It has a warrior tag. It can be a 6 or it can be a 4. This is a good sign. And YouTube gets to see me draft something that I don't normally go into. I don't think we've got the really busted lines currently for the Minotaur, but we can get some work done here. It's kind of Warriors and Wizards. That sounds like a bad knockoff video game from the 80s or something. This guy's playable too if we needed, again, filler 4-drop. That's entirely possible, but they should have enough 2-drops by now. And if they don't, and we just get ambushers and one wizard and a pack beast or whatever, we'll be fine. I am getting more interested in... It actually was a bad video game. That's pretty great. Artist for this is Dominic Mayer, and that is pretty spicy art right there. I think I actually played it. You're a dude in armor jumping around on trees, if I remember correctly. Oh, we got a Hellion too. Okay. We're going to have a reasonable curve here. And I think plenty of playables. So I've been pretty down on Valakut Exploration, pretty high on the Minotaur. I think I need to be taking the Royal Eruption here. We've really only got one piece of removal. I think we'd like more, and this is additional flexible removal. I suspect I can wheel something out of this pack, because we would happily play at least this Cleric, the Hazard, another Minotaur, this Cleric, and I might even play a Royal Eruption and Valakut Exploration here. We'd probably play a pack. We'd certainly play a Pack Beast as well. So I think there's a decent chance for us to spin something here. This is where I usually complain about not having Golgari stuff. And, I mean, a little bit of complaint is necessary. It's a green mythic. That said, this is probably going to be a Slash of Talons. I'm not excited about it, but we need it. And the build we have currently could probably make it do 4 damage some amount of the time. We're an aggro deck. We need to draft like we're one. Our warriors are going to be pretty good. The question is, do we think there's any possibility that this spins? Because I'd really like to have 2 bindings. But I feel like this, when all of my 2-drops so far are warriors, just has to be the pick. I think it might, but I also think the deck's power level is increased so much by picking this that I just need to take it. Why, hello there, 2-drop warrior. Don't mind if I do. I would have been happy with the 3/1. We're trying something different for the YouTube video today, Randy. I think I heard about it a long time ago on a draft series called The Joy of Drafting, which is trying to draft what is open. It was a YouTube series by a very handsome Magic player. I can't remember his name, though. Yeah, we can be very happy with the sellsword here. Night Runner gives us a rogue tag that we don't currently have. I suspect this deck would be interested in one Sizzling Barrage. But I think the rogue tag will be useful. I also think our curve is probably low enough that I can find some value out of it if it connects. It's not terrible with a kite sail either. This is a deck that will play the Farsight Wizard too, pretty happily. Because the idea is we can capitalize on the extra card a lot sooner than our opponent can. So this is not bad. We've got some places to upgrade. I don't think I want 2 kite sails. I might bring in a Tormenting Voice if I'm very concerned about flooding. This is the pack where we said there was some potential to wheel something. If I take the Pack Beast, I'm going to need to cut something for it. If I take the Spikefield Hazard, I just get to play it for free. Which I think the Pack Beast would be better here. But I think the free card is something I'm more interested in. We're going to not end up playing these Scavenged Blades. I don't think that we need them. But there's a world where I bring in a Pressure Point. Because this deck is just about trying to go face as much as possible. I might want a Combat Trick. I don't think I actually do, though. I could play 16 lands in the Combat Trick. I think I might actually like that. Combat Trick is better than Barrage? Depends. Depends. That trick doesn't necessarily allow you to attack this into a 4/4. Yeah, I think the Cinderclasm is main deckable. Considering we've got 3 Anthems, I don't think it's actually going to kill that much of our stuff. Let's do our Stream Raiders battle and then really consider whether I want the 16 or not. Pew, 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 pew. All right, we've got Boss Worshipper with the kills, Rocky with the assists, rewards for Cal, Adam, and Duke. Generally speaking, I don't either Limestone, but there's decks that can use it, and this is one of them, so here we are. All right, we're up against a boss here. I guess I'm tanking? I'll tank this northern group. Somebody else can take care of the flag bearer. I think I do like the 16 lands here. Because my curve basically stops at 2 5-drops, 3 5-drops. But I think this deck could pretty consistently play this on 4. And if Chandra's not happy with this deck, I don't know what she's happy about. All right, let's give it a go. Congratulations, Adam. A wizard is never late. All right, I can get behind this. On the play, I just need to play these and curve out, because we can go Ambusher into War Leader, so the flexibility here doesn't really matter. This hand is asking, do you have interaction? Because if you don't, I will probably kill you immediately. You can have my rage. I barely wanted to play it anyway. We're up against a Golgari Theory deck. Can't even cast that. If I kill that in swing, they don't have a lot of options here. Other than chump blocking, which is fine by me. I think it was pretty much precisely the start we were looking for there. We could bring in Hellhound because it combos with their acquisitions experts. I don't know that I actually want to change too much. It's not like we saw a lot. I sort of know what Golgari is up to. I've played that deck once or twice. So we still need to be the aggro deck against them. There's some argument to cut something like the Hellion for the Lagak just to get a little bit lower curve when we're on the draw. The incidental damage can begin to add up. So I think I am interested in that adjustment, but I think that's about the only one. Because one of the things that deck usually sideboards in, if it has access to them, is the 5/4 Giant and the Nectar Pod. Prowler? Which one's the Prowler? I must not be remembering the Prowler very well. 2/3 Vigilance and Landfall. I think that'll get us value over time. Can you guys think of why we would main deck Cinderclasm? Me neither. Get me. Yeah, I don't even know if it's going to be good here. It's annoying, but not if they have to block it. +3, +2. So it's not super doing the job. Yeah, I think we have to pass here. Because I don't care if they attack me with it. The only question is, do I want to try to 2-for-1 myself with the wizard to get this out of the way? It's 3 mana to activate, so we can do that next turn and attack with it. We're just not able to do that now. So I think this one we just pass. It sucks, but we pass. They're not really in a position to attack me back. But what this deck needs to stabilize now, the opponent, is the 5/4 Giant. If they play that, they're good to go. I hope they don't. It'd be real nice if they didn't. Because the skeleton, I decided to turn this into a 2 for 2 instead. Because this deck usually has ways to get back a skeleton. And I'm feeling good about that now because, like, instead of having a 1 damage spell in hand, we have them not getting their Moss Pit skeleton. This attack is fantastic for me. That's not the end of the world either. This even potentially baits him into a block I'm pretty happy about. Well, we'll take that one too. It is what it is. Tactics? Sure. That seems good. Let's race. This gives it 1 pump. I can't actually... I have to pump it and attack. I can make them block. Unless they want to eat this and go to 1. I don't mind them being at 1. I think I can actually play this. Because this puts me like a binding, potentially, to win. We could have, but they're going to play more stuff, and there's a limit to how long we've got until they get to play that. I don't really want this in their graveyard right now. How much is this to kick? Boop. Oh, skeletons are real scary. I don't know how we beat them. Each pot is going to have something different that's open, and if you're paying attention, you can read what it is. I've been lazy and just playing Golgari. Because it like, you don't have to pay attention. Here's the thing. If you do 10 drafts, Golgari is probably going to be open 6 times. Whereas if I'm actually paying attention, I can find the one-time wizards, warriors, clerics, whatever else is what we're supposed to be doing. The other reason I was being lazy and playing Golgari so much is because you could kind of backdoor into green play everything. Like, the green play everything deck is really good when you get good bombs, but if you build a deck that can play anything and then don't open busted rares and mythics, it doesn't do anything. You can play a bunch of medium cards. So I felt like the fact that Golgari you could start going towards Golgari, and then, oops, I opened a bomb. Cool, I'll play that. Was pretty neat. Wouldn't mind a 2-drop into a land. That'd be swell. I mean, I also wouldn't mind if $20 fell from the ceiling. This is going to need to be a 2-drop here. This probably looks like I'm being overly aggressive, but that's going to block this even after the war leader comes down, and I just don't want to deal with it. We have to play the games with this deck as if we want to close the game immediately. Which it looks like we probably have the ability to do. This is a tough one because that is going to get out of hand, and there's not a lot I can do about it. Whereas I've only got 2 damage here. So I can basically force some damage. I think this is going to have to be how I deal with it. Which is a bit unfortunate, but it is what it is. This is a sorcery, so we don't have that option. Yeah, we could do that. We could potentially do that. I still don't know that it necessarily works out to our favor. I mean, you can play the good cards. I can't worry about my own life total right now because I need better stuff than this. His practice tactics can kill that next turn, so I think we probably do that and see if they'll make the same attack again. It doesn't leave me with any attacks, which is unfortunate. But if they continue with the same attack, we're in a little bit better shape. They may not, because they may be scared I'll trade it here. So if I trade here, we can swing back for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay, then I like this block. Because I'm pretty sure we got 15 here, right? There's 5, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah. Math saves the day. All right, so they're doing some beefy stuff. Beefy stuff with, let's call it an ambitious mana base. We haven't seen their whole mana base. For all I know, they're playing exactly two plains, 2 mountains, 1 swamp, a bazillion forests, 1 island, and a bunch of other things. They also have over 60 cards, so like they may have thought they needed to play everything that they drafted. You never really know. You never really know. But again, on the draw, I kind of want the Lagak more than the Hellion. I don't want to make fun of my opponent, like, and I don't want you guys to do it either. And I don't think that you actually are, but like, I signed up for people to watch my gameplay. They didn't. It could also be a streamer doing some sort of challenge or something. This you may be surprised about, but I'm going to send this back. We need to have a strong opener with an aggro deck, and I can't afford to be mana screwed. And this I'm going to keep, which again, you may be surprised about, but it's got a curve. All we need is a land. We're good to go. So I don't need super late game right now, but I'm not going to have to discard the hand size, and this we're actually happier about. Now, if I don't draw the lands, I'm not going to be happy, but aggro decks do need to mulligan a little more consistently than mid-range or control decks. There's my Roll Eruption to deal with that, just like we did last game. I guess we'll bluff a combat trick here. The odds are actively pretty low, Neuro, but so are our chances of winning against most decks when we're on the draw. We don't necessarily need a mountain next turn. We kind of like it would be ideal, but we could go plains into mountain and do something with that. But it's not like double white would have done much better with that last hand. I don't think we actually have any white 2-drops, if I'm remembering correctly. I mean, they are not losing to rogues. That seems to be their plan. And it's not a bad plan. We have one of the 3 ones? Okay. That is basically perfect. Basically. I wouldn't throw my keyboard for that. All right, let's try to have a stronger opener. I think all we need is one good, strong opener, and we're probably good to go. I think going on the play again, I'd rather swap these out. Yeah, we got tucked, boys and girls. No, we don't need to throw any keyboards. Like, there's math involved. Math won us game 1 and math lost us game 2. It's okay. I think we keep with the double red, but we're obviously somewhat interested in drawing the cards that do the thing. Lands. Math cares about my feelings. It may not care about yours. We'll turn the cat green so we can draw a land. That's what I didn't do last game that I really should have. See? Easy peasy. Want to draw lands? Just turn the cat green. Draw the lands. It's that easy. I am confounded. What is math? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. This is the commentary I know that you guys are watching the streams and YouTube videos for. Well, I was going to say I probably don't want to Royal Eruption that. And I might still not, because Cinderclasm could be pretty fun next turn. But I also just like building this out. No, I think I want to get it out of the way and start the beats. It's like, we know they're going to be having some mana troubles. We'd like to try to capitalize that. Well, we suspect that they will, and we'd like to capitalize on that if possible. Ideally here, we just hit a land, play the Ox into a kicked Scorch Rider. Gold. Chonk? Chonk. It's interesting that by drafting what's open, we were able to beat decks similar to what I've been drafting in the past, which was either Golgari or green splash all the things. What's up, Keep? All right, we got one more round left for the YouTube draft. Are we good on this battle? We should be. There's 132 of us. It is a boss fight, but I'm feeling like we can probably risk this for the biscuit. Because when we're doing YouTube stuff, I'd like to keep sideboarding discussions limited to actual sideboarding discussions. Okay, perhaps I worried a little too much about that, because we kind of destroyed them. Rocky with the kills, Bolrak with the assists. Scrolls for Neuro, Walking, Small, and Tulok. And victory is ours. This is the last stage where we fight Cthulhu, so welcome to the Void, boys and girls. What do you mean, what type of corn dog is the best? Are there more than one type of corn dogs? I was not aware that such a thing existed. A corn dog is a hot dog wrapped in cornbread and then deep fried. It's actually a German invention. As I'm well versed in the history of corn dogs, Germans moved to Texas and no one wanted to buy their sausages. So they coated them in cornbread and fried them, and then everybody bought their sausages. And now we have corn dogs. That would not be a corn dog. The corn comes from the cornbread. That would be a pig in a blanket. Well, why do Americans want... Let's test your British knowledge. Why do Americans want fried stuff? The stick's pretty important to the dog of corn. The area I came from was settled largely by Scots, so we're pretty into frying stuff. Yeah, there you go. A Scottish housemaid who deep fried a pizza once. It's pretty good. It's a good block from them. Don't really need that right now. The wizard makes this a lethal attack next turn. You should visit the American South sometime if you can't believe deep fried butter stick is a thing. Yeah, you really got to do math if you're going to play red-white. Red-white is the math deck. Not the imagine I'm a wizard and wonder how this is going to work. Yeah, I agree with you there, Heels. I've never eaten it. It sounded kind of disgusting to me, but I've known people who literally ate butter as a snack. See, that's how civilized people eat their butter. We pretend we're eating popcorn, when really it's just butter soup with a little bit of popcorn in it. Kettle corn's good stuff. I like kettle corn a lot. All right, so we've got another Golgari deck. I guess the word has gotten out on Golgari, and I just need to play aggro decks now. Maybe too many people have been... Did Lords of Limited or Limited Resources say Golgari is really good? What's up, Wallet? Because this is basically two and a half Golgari decks that we've faced. Somebody somewhere must have said that this is good. Because not enough people pay attention to me, right? Did I do that? I don't think I did that. Again, we probably need to swap out for the Lagak here. And think about Spellcraft for a minute. This deck is just a wall of 5/5s. I can't Spellcraft this opponent. I have to aggro them out. That's why I don't play Spellcraft. The Blade might still give me attacks after I wear out, but I think we're probably just not likely to win this one, and that the Kite Sail gives me a better option. Ethan's been on the green good things. I mean, it's a good deck too. I guess if you start trying to draft green good things and then see a skeleton, all of a sudden you're Golgari. That's a start I can get behind. Golgari has a notoriously hard time with flyers. I don't block. Definitely didn't come here to block. They might have vanquished the weak, but we're still ahead. I'm swinging for 5. They're swinging for 4. Do I die if they have a removal spell? I do. I don't need to be dead to a removal spell. I'd rather be dead to a combat trick than a removal spell. They've already used 1 combat trick. How many do you think they're playing? I've certainly been there too, Keeps. I've had good decks that I played poorly. I hope their splash isn't for a roiling eruption or whatever. It would appear that it is not. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, thank you for tuning into the draft today and following the lesson of draft what is open. Don't get lazy and assume that just because one color pair is often open, that it's always open, because if you do, you will draft green-black a lot like I do and go 2-1 all the time. Whereas if you draft what's open, I think you can pull off the 3-0. If you would like to watch the drafts live, you can do so at www.twitch.tv/Semulin. Chat, say goodbye to YouTube. And you YouTubers, come on by and see what we're doing here live.